We have a very special guest today. Now, every individual is special, but what makes her really special is her approach towards life. If I have to give you a very small brief about her life journey, she has good 25 years of work experience, out of which 15 years of experience only into HR. Interesting part is she took a good 10 years break right after her education. We still belong to a culture wherein we put our families first before even before our career, and that's what she did. She took a good 10 years of break after she got graduated, and she started her career at the age of 30. When she started working, she did not have a formal degree into HR. She started her journey as a teacher, and slowly and steadily she climbed up the ladder and started to learn new things about the industry. She even took a formal degree while she was working, and then she started working as an HR. Inspiration, what we can take from her is we often feel that if we don't have something, we can't achieve something. But she is a perfect example who breaks each and every myth and misconception about it. So, without wasting any time, let's welcome Miss Nandini Mehta and hear the story from her voice.
Sure. So thank you so much, Nihar, for inviting me on this podcast.
Mm.
And
Okay.
it would definitely be very enriching to share what I have gone through, what I've learned with a group of people who can make use of it as well.
Correct.
So quickly, let me introduce myself first. Of course, Nihar has mentioned my name. I have about 15 years in HR, but overall about 25 years of experience,
Correct.
professional experience.
Mhm.
And it's been, like he rightly said, in retail, but I started off in operations and then I moved to training and HR. So that's been my career journey.
Mhm.
And going back to what Nihar wants to know is, my education and then how did I grow up the ladder. So I hail from a small town called Tiruchirappalli, which is in Tamil Nadu.
Mhm.
And I completed my schooling and college there. I did my BSc in rehabilitation science. And I got married when I was in my final year. And I hail from a traditional Gujarati family. So I did not work for almost 10 years while I was,
Correct.
married. And started my career after being a housewife for 10 years. And the easiest thing that comes for a housewife is to become a teacher. And that's how I started initially when I was married. So I worked as a teacher for 3 years.
Mhm.
And I think even today, if someone asks me what was the best job, I think I'll say teaching was the best thing that I've done in my career. I loved what I was doing, but it doesn't pay you as much. And at that point in time, my goal was to fend for myself and, earn more so that I can live well.
Correct.
So moved out of teaching and got into retail operations. It came my way. I got
Mhm.
interviewed for a role, and it came my way. And
Mhm.
I started as a sales staff in Will's Lifestyle, which used to belong to ITC. The stores are no more, but yeah,
Mhm.
it was one of the top brands then.
Correct.
And I grew through the ranks in operations. I became from a sales staff, I became a department manager to a senior department manager to an area manager in
Mhm.
various companies.
Mhm.
And while I was doing this, I realized, training comes naturally to me. I used to teach for 3 years,
Correct.
and I loved what I was doing. So I said the next best thing for me is training, and that's how I
Mhm.
got into training.
Mhm.
I handled multiple roles in training. So initially, I started off as a trainer for a consultant, and then I moved into becoming a training head in one organization and then another.
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of got into training.
Mhm.
And while I was in this role of training, I see everyone in their career has this one aha moment of this is the organization and this is where I'm going to stay long and grow, right? So
Mhm.
that aha
Mhm.
moment for me happened with Landmark Group, Max, the Max business.
Next lifestyle.
So so I joined them as the head of training, but
Mhm.
an individual contributor.
Mhm.
Grew through the ranks over there, and did that for about 2008 to 2012. So about 3.5 years approximately is
Correct.
I did training there.
Mhm.
And in that span of time, we had three HR heads who joined Max and somehow could not keep up with the pace of the organization. And
Correct.
that's when the management decided that let's try Nandini for the role.
Oh,
And
okay.
I got the opportunity of heading HR for the retail business. We had a different person for corporate. I handled the retail business, reporting
Mhm.
directly to my CEO and the CHRO there.
Mhm.
And I think that was a huge career break for me. And I've always believed that if someone trusts me with something, I should excel in it. You know, I cannot disappoint that person. And I took up the role as a challenge. I had no background of HR.
Mhm.
So I did a course from XLRI. I got myself certified in HR. So I did my
HR.
PGC HRM from XLRI.
Mhm.
And one of the areas in HR that is very critical at a role of heading it is the whole numbers part of it, which is the payroll,
Yeah.
the compliance part of it,
Compliance part.
which is something that, of course, I don't come with that background. But the organization supported with me with that, and they got me. And the reason I'm sharing this, it's an individual's success is sometimes not just their own; it's also how the organization
Yes.
helps and supports the individual to succeed as well. So it's a
Correct.
combination of the two, and that's
Mhm.
why I say you always have that one organization when you know that
This
you're
is
going
the
this is the organization that's going to
you're
help
gonna scale.
you
Correct.
grow. So yeah, so I got the support from the management. I got someone who worked under me managing that piece, and I
Mhm.
learned over a period of time. And I think in all these roles, one of the most important things that I learned was success doesn't come when you think you know what you have to drive as a function.
Mhm.
And HR is always considered as a support function. Although I would not call it a support function, I would call it more of a business partnering function.
Mhm.
And if one wants to succeed in this, one has to continuously talk to the people you are partnering with,
Correct.
understand their pain points, and come
Mhm.
out with solutions to address those pain points. So I think one can be successful in any domain for that matter, any
True.
function, only when you partner with the business and find solution. And business succeeds when they partner with their customers and clients
Mhm.
and give them what they want, right? So it's
Correct.
similar internally as well. And
Like
I
they
think
will
that's
give the
been my
solution.
success. Yeah. And I
Correct.
would say that's been my success mantra in all my roles. Currently, I
Mhm.
work with Metro as the CHRO here.
Mhm.
And I realized that if I had copied pasted whatever I did in Max over here, it would have failed
Sales.
miserably because
Correct.
Metro Brands is a very, very different organization.
Mhm.
And what is expected of HR here is very different from what was expected there.
Correct.
Uh, so I think the last 3.5 years here has been another learning journey. That's another important thing, another important takeaway from me that
Mhm.
every time you're in a new role, you need to unlearn and relearn.
Correct.
So I
Very
think,
true.
this has broadly been my career journey, and I have loved every moment of it. I've had a roller coaster, but I think every role, every manager, every team has taught me a lot. Yeah,
True.
that's what I would say.
I think unlearn is something which is more difficult than learning new thing because unless and
Mhm.
until you forget what you have already learned, you will never be able to evolve into the new things. And right now,
True.
at the speed the world is moving, if we'll not keep up with that speed, I think we'll be thrown away very badly in our career as
Agree,
well.
agree to that.
So, Nandini, one more question I think a lot of people would like to ask you or would like to know. That as you said that when you got married, you took a break of 10 years, right? And when we speak to people or when we speak to HRs who have been working, they took a break of 2 years or 3 years of time. They find it extremely difficult to restart because I think they have lost the touch from the industry or they have forgotten most of the things or the things what they already know that has been outdated. So how do you suggest these people to start off their journey as if they are taking a break of 2 3 years and then probably they are starting off something new or they want to take up a job? What would be your suggestion to these people?
So, like I said, life is all about unlearning, relearning, starting new things. Um, And even when you take a break, I think the point is you're starting from somewhere.
Correct.
Your past is not going to, unless you've been at a level where, you've done it and it's been in your DNA. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you're ever going to catch up with what you were doing earlier. That gap is a gap. Whether we like it or not, it's the fact of life.
Correct.
What makes the difference is how well you keep in touch with what's happening around you in that gap, right? And when I say keep in touch, it's not about studying something new. It's
Mm-hmm.
about being in touch with your colleagues, people in the same field as you who are working in other organizations, finding out from them what are the new things that are happening.
Correct.
Because, it's when you're taking a break, it doesn't mean you're not talking to people, right? So use that time talking to people who are in your domain, understanding what they're doing in their organizations, reading up new things. Today, I think, there are so many articles available everywhere for you to read up.
Correct.
Subscribe to certain magazines or art or, websites that can help you learn what are the new things happening, right?
Correct.
And
Mm-hmm.
constantly keep in touch with what's around you in your field. I think that's going to be tremendously useful when you're attending an interview.
True that.
Having said that, irrespective of what you're going to talk there, they will always come back and say, 3 साल पहले तो आपका ये सैलरी था, उसी सैलरी में आ जाओ,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct.
Very very few organizations will say नहीं, 3 साल में आपने इतना लॉस किया है तो हम उसको रिकवर
True that.
करके आपको
Correct.
इतना देंगे. It's very difficult.
Correct.
So I think one has to um, accept that fact of life, right? And rebuild yourself. And if you are really good, I don't think it's going to take you too long to reach uh,
The
much
level.
ahead the level that you had left behind, right?
Correct.
And I feel I myself am a true example of that. And for me, it was not like I was working and I left a job. I just got
Mm-hmm.
married, I was studying, right? So I hadn't worked at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my career at the age of 30, and I had to work with people who are 20, 22 years old,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the kind of role I got. But I said, it's okay. How does it matter? I'm
Correct.
learning. I'm making money, right? The pride for me was it's giving me money to
Correct.
take care of myself and my family, right? And that was my pride.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what one has to be very clear about what you want in life. And
Mm-hmm.
if you know that, I don't think anything can stop you. So that's the way I would put across somebody who wants to begin a second innings, as we call it.
Correct. So there is one more question which comes to my mind when we speak to a lot of people. They also have a question that, okay, I have had experience as working as an HR in a particular organization for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, probably 15 years as well. Now I don't want to do a job. I want to start something of my own. And at that point of time, I think recruitment agency is something which comes very natural in everybody's head because the process is simple, the business model is simple, wherein the organization gives you a requirement and you have to find the candidate as per the requirement. So what are the things what they have to take care? And I have seen a lot of people failing in doing so because what happens is they only rely on certain clients or they only rely on certain people or something like that. What are the things which they should keep in mind? What do you think they should keep in mind while starting their own venture? It could be anything. It could be a recruitment agency. It could be a training academy. It could be anything related to HR. But they already have experience. They already have a certain of number of people who know them in the industry. Now they are starting off their business. But the mindset is completely different because initially they were drawing a fixed salary from an organization and then they got into a model wherein there is nothing fixed. There will be 6 months where there will be no revenue. There will be 3 months where they will make three your salary together in those 3 months. So what are the kind of things they should take care while starting off a recruitment business or any business for that matter? What do you think on this line?
So Nihar is a very tough question for me to answer because I've never been on that side. And
Mm.
I've never thought about it as well, to be honest. In
Mhm.
fact, the only time I'm thinking about it is now because, I'll be retiring in the next few years. So
Correct.
it's about, what am I going to do after that? And
Correct.
I think so my immediate thought is I need to brand myself first, right?
Mhm.
And today, of course, I have a position where a lot of people know me,
Correct.
but that's because I'm the CHRO of a company.
Mm.
Tomorrow, if I'm going to start my own company, are those same people going to even, uh, how would I say, would they even
Give you more.
invite me over to say, come, let me see what you're doing. I
Mhm.
don't think there'll be very handful of people.
Correct.
And I'll give you the reason why I think so. So, like I said, one, it's very important to have a brand. You as a brand, right? People
Mhm.
people will come to you, or when you go to people, they will not say no to you because you are a brand by yourself, and they
Mhm.
would like to work with you. That's point number one.
Mhm.
Point number two is how well are you networked, and your EQ matters a lot over here, right? Your
Mhm.
network skills, your ability to connect with people, and uh, uh, keep in touch with them, not because of work,
Mhm.
but with a genuine this one that you care for them, right? And I think that space is very important. So I would say second is that networking, not just because you need something from people, but
Correct.
also because people may want something from you, right? So being available for people. And I'm
Correct.
saying all this before you start something of your own. As an individual, one should be that. So I think that's the second.
Mhm.
Third is a lot of market research. And the reason I'm telling you this is today there is so much available in the market.
True.
Being on the other side of the table, almost every other day I get 4 to 5 mails from a recruitment consultant saying, let's meet up. And
Mhm.
I don't have the time and bandwidth to meet up all of them, right?
Correct.
But who would I meet up? I would probably meet up Nihar because Nihar has stayed in touch with me for so many years,
Correct.
and he's doing some good work.
Mhm.
I've heard from fellow colleagues that Nihar is great in recruitment.
Mhm.
He has industry experience and he's amazing. He has closed some very good positions for me. So that's how I will connect with Nihar rather
Mhm.
than connecting with somebody else,
Randomly.
doing the same work, right? So I
Correct.
think market research becomes very important from the perspective of what is available out
Mhm.
there and what is it you can create as your niche, something which is not available out there in the market, which you are offering, right? So if I take the
Some sort of
example
a
of a recruit,
USP, you mean?
yeah, a USP, as you would want to call it, and typically that's the blue ocean space that we talk about, right? How can you be ahead of the
Like
competition?
competitive.
And I think that becomes very important. So you do your research and identify that sweet spot which nobody has taken as yet, and
Mhm.
probably that's the place that you need to be in. That would be my third thought around this.
Mhm.
And last but not the least, I think being an entrepreneur is much more difficult than being an employee. And most of us decide at the heat of the moment that we don't want to be an employee because we don't get along with people, because my managers are bad, because the culture is not good. But trust me, I've seen so many entrepreneurs closing shop and wanting to get back to work, and then it becomes very, very difficult for them to get work. So,
Correct.
whenever you take a decision, be very sure of why you've taken the decision, right? Have some financial backup for yourself, because you don't want to reach a situation where you're really struggling with things. So I'm not saying don't try, don't take
Mhm.
risks. Taking risks is very important in life, but your priorities are more important than the risk, right?
True.
So
Correct.
for example, if you're having a family to take care of and you're only the only earning member, would you want to take that risk?
Correct. So it has to be a
Uh,
calculated risk, not
Please,
putting
please
everything.
think through everything before you take the risk. But like I said, being an entrepreneur is much more difficult than being an employee because as an entrepreneur, you are the owner.
Mhm.
So 24 bar 7, you have to put
Working.
in effort. You may meet 10 clients and get rejections from all 10, and you may have to restart all over again,
True that.
right? So it is not, you cannot go with a cloud that I've done it all, I know it all, and now it's going to be a easy cake, easy walk. It's not going to happen.
True.
Entrepreneurship is very difficult, and it definitely requires much, much more hard work than being an employee, right? And
Mhm.
as an employee, I can do 9 to 6 and say goodbye. You
Right.
can't do that as an entrepreneur.
Correct.
So
That.
think through everything before you take a call is all I would say. And the initial 4 things before you start something, I think it becomes important to think of those 4 things that I just said.
True that. Very true. Also, we wanted to know from your perspective, as you have so many years of experience, how do you think technologies are helping companies nowadays? And you are at a level where you can see through everything. So, what are the kind of technologies you invest in, and how important it is for a organization to invest money into technology?
Very, very interesting and very, very disrupting question. And why I say that is, I think there's so much happening around technology, AI, machine learning today
Hmm.
that organizations are confused. Everybody wants to start the journey, uh, but it's all over the place, right? So
Correct.
if you take the example of retail, retail is not as evolved an industry as a lot of other industries. And many of the companies are even struggling to have their data streamlined.
Hmm.
And we still want to invest in AI. And I think for every organization, one needs to have a technology strategy, right? And this strategy comes with while we say high level, but it of course comes from the bottom as
Hmm.
to, so for example, our entire business is around product and customers, right? Our
Correct.
customers are the reason why we are here.
Correct.
And product is the make or break for customers, right?
Correct.
So these are our two critical, I would say, uh, critical business givers from that perspective. Okay.
Hmm.
And whatever I do in technology, I have to ensure it eases
Uh,
these two areas,
these two
my
ends.
customer experience and my product innovation and elevation, right? And whatever impacts these two from a positive perspective, those are the technologies in which I need to invest. Now, the next point is, if those are the technologies I need to invest, there is so much available in the market. So which one do I choose?
Correct.
And that's where the teams play a critical role in putting down what is my requirement.
Hmm.
So okay, so to make it simpler, let me give you an example. Um, let's say one of my biggest challenges in the front end is I have long queues in my cash counters
Hmm.
almost every day,
Hmm.
and the number of cash counters are less, so I struggle.
Hmm.
Now, what is an easy? A lot of companies have done it, and that's why I'm giving you this example. What is an easy way out? Can we do some self checkout counters,
Correct.
right? Can we have a mobile point of sale, right? Where let's say somebody wants to pay by card, we just give them the mobile POS and they enter the details, and we can get a bill done from there,
Correct.
right? So look at technology from the perspective of how we can improve the customer experience, but very clearly, what is that experience you want to improve has to be put down, and solutions to that has to be found in the market, rather than saying that this some company is using
Hmm.
this and maybe that's what we need to
Correct.
incorporate, right? And I think that becomes important. And I would like to give you one example in HR that we did in Metro Brands.
Hmm.
So we had a HRMS system called Spine.
Okay.
I'm so yeah, and we had some struggles with the product.
Hmm.
We had some struggles with the service giver,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just not working for us. And we reached out to our management saying we want a new HRMS. And the
Okay.
mandate given to us was, we are okay with it, but it
Mm-hmm.
has to be at the same cost.
Okay.
So now here, what is my requirement? I need to get something at the same cost, but
Correct.
I need something which is more modern and which addresses my entire employee life cycle. I don't want to do anything manual. I want to automate the entire life cycle.
Correct.
So these are my two mandates. Now, when I say I want to automate my entire life cycle, I have to employee life cycle. I have to put down what that is in a piece of paper. And when I'm meeting vendors, I need to show them that can you deliver this to me,
Correct.
right? And I think the best way of doing this is, because the cost is also in question here.
Correct.
So we of course reviewed so many vendors, but
Hmm.
nothing was fitting into our requirement in terms of cost and customization. So the best thing for us is to identify somebody new in the market who is willing to experiment with us. And
Correct.
that's what we did. We got a new vendor from the market,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been about 1.5 years since we got them on board, and it's beautifully working for us. So I think when we are talking about technology, we need to be very, very clear about our strategy, very,
Correct.
very clear about where we want to use it and why we want to use it. right? And if
Correct.
this is very clear, I think it's not a big rocket science to get something into the organization,
Correct. You'll
right?
have to
I
figure
think
out what
that's
you
that's my
exactly want.
yeah, that's my take.
Correct.
Rather than, just because everybody is doing it, I need to do. It's more about what you need to do, how you need to do, and why you need to do. I think that's very important.
Correct. Okay. I think
Yes, then.
I think it was a great interaction. We got to learn a lot of things from somebody who has this many years of experience into HR, into training, into other teaching and other stuff. So I think our viewers will love watching this. They will learn a lot from this podcast, and that is the basic criteria what we had for doing this. So I thank you so much for coming and joining us and giving your precious time to our viewers. Probably they whenever they have to take a call or whenever they have taken a pause and they want to restart, probably this is the best podcast they could ever go through, and they would start to learn things from this. So I thank you so much for joining us, and I think we will have to end it here, and probably we'll move on to the next podcast.
Thank you so much, Nihar. Wonderful talking to you.
Same here, ma'am. Same here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.